Hi, it's Lucy, and today I'm here to do a book unhaul. Oh my gosh, this is okay. Oh no. All right, saved. I am moving a lot of stuff around in my apartment for a reason you'll probably find out soon. So we're getting rid of books. Some of these you may have seen in previous unhauls where I said I was getting rid of them, and it appears that maybe I lied, but this time I'm definitely getting rid of them. We're going to Half Price Books right after I film this. And in this video, I just picked out all the books that I want to get rid of. I'm just going to share the reasons why and maybe little reviews here and there. Suicide Notes from Beautiful Girls. This is a book I got a long time ago. I finally read it, I think in 2021. This was the first book I read in 2021, I believe, or like the second. And it was just okay. Not really worth keeping. So I'm getting rid of it. This follows two girls, I believe. They were like best friends. They dealt with like some hard stuff I don't really remember exactly. And then one of them dies, but then the main character is trying to figure out exactly like what happened. And it's like a mystery around that and like the people that they were hanging out with and all this other stuff. Doesn't really matter. I didn't really think it was that interesting. I don't know. What We Saw by Erin Hertzler. I don't think I read this. I always feel weird getting rid of books that I never read, but I've had this for quite a while, almost as long as my channel, I think, like at least 6 years. And I haven't read it. I don't think I'm ever gonna read it. I think I've outgrown this section of YA. This, I believe, is like modeled off of or like inspired by the actual Steubenville rape case where a girl gets a picture of herself passed around in like a compromising position, and she accuses some of the other students of having put her in that position basically, and it's like a whole thing around the town. Fates and Furies by Lauren Groff. This has definitely been in another unhaul, and then I kept it because I started hearing reviews about it. I had literally never heard of this before I picked it up at a library book sale at my university, and then I never read it. I went to unhaul it, and then I started seeing reviews and stuff about it. So then I was like, oh, maybe I'll keep it, maybe I will get to this, but I never got to it. It's been years, so I'm never gonna get to it. I can't really even tell you what this one's about. I think this is about a couple whose marriage maybe starts to fall apart, or like how they got to the position they are in their marriage or something like that. It does have a lot of good reviews. Lauren Groff is a well-known author, but I'm never gonna read this. Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson, MD. This is a book I got for free from my former employer. They sent it out to everyone. I never read it. One of my coworkers did, and he thought it was interesting. There is now a podcast called If Books Could Kill. If you know about it, let me know. I listened to the episode that they did on this where it does not align with my values. It does make more sense why my employer sent this book out though, after hearing like the synopsis and everything. But yeah, this is like apparently a big deal in the corporate world, and it's basically about dealing with layoffs, I guess, according to the If Books Could Kill podcast. My True Love Gave to Me, 12 Holiday Stories, edited by Stephanie Perkins. I read this years ago, probably around the time it came out. This was one of the first books I got, like in a big book haul on BookTube. And I enjoyed reading it. I love a holiday book. Honestly, I'm always looking for holiday books. Let me know if you have any recommendations, just putting that out there. And if this somehow goes up after Christmas, I'll read it next year. Anyway, but yeah, I read this. I enjoyed it at the time. There are only a couple of stories in here that I really liked, and I don't feel the need to keep this anthology for that. Also, it's ripped in the corner. I don't know if Half Price Books will even take this because of that, but it's been ripped since I got it. It looks like it got cut during shipping, or like someone literally cut it and then it started ripping because it was a flap. It came like that and it's bothered me ever since I got it, so it's finally time to get rid of it. Aurora Rising by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I've talked about this before because the only reason I bought this was so I could get the Illuminae short story from the point of view of Aiden, because that was the only way to get that short story, and I loved the Illuminae series, the Illuminae files, so I really wanted it, so I bought this book, even though I didn't really think I was going to read it, and I didn't read it, and now I have no interest in reading it. I mean, I never had interest in reading it, but now I especially have no interest in reading it. I'm giving it away. This might have appeared in another unhaul, and at that time I was selling on Pango Book, and I think it got sent back to me. Like, whoever bought it gave the wrong address, and then they never responded to my attempts to like be like, hey, your address was wrong, and it got returned to sender. So I've just had it. So now it will go to Half Price Book. The Impossible Knife of Memory by Lori Halls Anderson. This has definitely appeared in other unhauls, or I've contemplated getting rid of it, but I haven't yet. This time I think it's gonna stick though, because I just haven't read it. I was holding on to this because this was the last Lori Halls Anderson book I needed to read to like complete her, would it be a bibliography? I don't know, her entire set of works, but she has since released more books that I'm not super interested in reading, and this is just not my type of book anymore. I used to really love her books. I read a lot of them in high school, so this brings me back to that time, but this wasn't one of them. so it doesn't like really have a memory for me, and hopefully someone else can enjoy this. This follows a girl who's dealing with her dad having PTSD from being in the military, fighting in a war. It doesn't say what war, and I think they moved to like a remote town in Alaska. That could maybe be another book, but they move somewhere, and the main character is trying to deal with her dad, mental health issues basically. The Bells by Danielle Clayton. This also may have appeared in another Unhaul, and then I didn't get rid of it, but this time I think it's gonna happen. Even though I really do enjoy the cover, this book was like fine for me. I enjoyed it. I was really into Danielle Clayton at the time because I love Tiny Pretty Things so much, and I wanted to read more of her books, so I thought this was fine. But the second book in this series I thought was hot garbage. I didn't even finish it, so there's really no reason to keep this. I no longer have good memories of it because I didn't like the second book so much, and I think there's a third book now, but I'm never gonna read that, and I hope somebody else could enjoy this story. This is kind of a dystopian fantasy, I guess, where our main character is called Abel, where she has like a power to change how other people look, because in this society, in this world, everyone is born gray, and then the Bells are the ones who like make you look any type of way basically that's not gray. Like they'll change hair, skin color, eye color, all that stuff. So our main character is trying to become like the favorite belle of the queen, but then they realize like more stuff is going on behind the scenes, and they have to like rebel, rise up, figure out everything that's going on basically. First Life by Gina Showalter. This I really gave a shot. I think I read like half of this book and I did not like it. I was really trying to give it a shot because I actually got this as a gift, but I didn't like it. I didn't think it was good. I think this is the first in a duology. In this society, there are basically two lives. There's First Life and then there's Everlife. And Everlife is where you go after you die. And in Everlife, there's two factions and you have to choose a side. And the story starts off with the main character in jail because she wouldn't let her parents decide what side she was going to join when she got to Everlife. This is a really stereotypical YA fantasy for the time. I think this was published in probably 2012, if I were gonna guess. Okay, 2016, but still, I think it's on the tail end. I just didn't find it interesting. I definitely had outgrown this type of story by the time I read it, and the writing and everything wasn't good enough to make me stay. Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. I got this in an Owl Crate years ago when I still used to get Owl Crates. I don't know if this is a special cover or not. It might be, I'll check. This might have been before Owl Crate started doing like specialized covers, but not the point. I'm never gonna read this. I didn't really want it. I'm not even sure I wanted that specific Owl Crate. I might have forgotten to hit pause on my subscription at the time. I kind of kept it because Julie Kagawa had like a really well-known YA series called the Iron Fae series, and I was kind of interested in that, so I was like, I'll keep this book in case I get into that and like get into the author, but I never did. I don't think I ever will at this point, so this one's going. Someone will enjoy it. It's a nice, like, basically new hardcover. Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I actually read this earlier this year. I talk about it in a vlog that I will link down below and somewhere in the corner. And this was just fine. I don't see a need to keep it. I'm not sure I'm ever going to read the sequel, but if I do, I won't buy it. So I don't need, like, the duology on my shelf or anything. I do like this cover, but not enough to keep it. This follows two guys who start out as college roommates, and while they're in school, they become obsessed with the idea of EOs, which are extraordinary individuals, people who develop superpowers basically after experiencing a near-death event. After their obsession, they like tried to become one. It starts off there and then takes place 10 years later after certain events happen that causes them to like be at odds with one another and have some kind of quote-unquote epic battle or whatever, and they both develop like teams kind of, and it's a whole thing. Lots of people love this. It was not for me. I think I just didn't read it at the right time. If I'd read it maybe when I got it instead of years later, I would have enjoyed it more, maybe. This is also a sign to read books as I get them more often. Ready When You Are by Gary Lonesborough. I believe I got this from a publisher unsolicited, so I didn't request this, and it's just been sitting on my shelf because I felt bad. I had like a book sticker. What is this called? I have a book plate because it was sent by the publisher, but I'm not super interested in it, and I don't think I'm ever going to read it. Just to read the synopsis, this follows a teenage Aboriginal boy whose aunt ends up taking in like a troubled teen, and he has to room with him, and they clash, but then maybe realize they're developing feelings for each other, or at least the main character realizes he's developing feelings for him. So it's like a gay teen romance. It's about an indigenous gay teen, which I love that representation, but I just don't think this is the right book for me. This is another book that I believe was sent unsolicited originally, which is why I've kept it, but I don't think I'm super interested in this. This is Things We Couldn't Say by J. Coles. I'm just personally not super interested in this title. Again, this is something that maybe if I had read when it first came out or first gotten it, I would have enjoyed more, but now I just don't see myself picking this up. So this will go to a new home. The Upper World by Femi Fedugba. This is a time travel book. The synopsis on the back doesn't give too many details, but it says that someone has an accident that knocks him back into the past. He meets this girl and they have to work together to prevent something from happening in the future, potentially the first guy's present. I don't know. I don't think I'll get to this. I don't love time travel, and then this kind of book doesn't sound like the kind of time travel I would enjoy, so I am sending this away to a better home. Now we have two older books, The Wrath and the Dawn and The Rose and the Dagger by Renee Audier. These were pretty popular on BookTube once upon a time. I got into the hype. I read both of them. I enjoyed them enough. I probably gave them 4 stars, maybe 3.5 stars. And they were fun to read. They were nice to read, but I don't see a reason to keep them. I think I was keeping them because I do like the covers. I think they're pretty. And I love deckled edges, actually. I know a lot of people don't like them, but I do. I don't know if you can really tell, but I like deckled edges. I know that's an unpopular opinion. Oh my God, I have more books. So yeah, I'm just getting rid of these. These are, once again, high fantasy. I feel like this makes it seem like I don't like high fantasy because I feel like I'm getting rid of a lot. Maybe that's just in my head. I am getting rid of like other types of books. This is like a retelling / inspired by 1001 Nights, where the king / what are we calling them? The caliph takes on a new bride every night, and by the morning they're dead. He kills them. So when our main character's best friend becomes the next victim to the caliph, our main character decides that she's gonna take vengeance into her own hands and become his next wife and keep herself alive until she can get her revenge, basically. And so that's what these two books are. There's, you know, high fantasy elements, a curse, yada yada, and fun while it lasted. No need to keep. I'm running out of space. Cats, Girlfriends and Cat Friends by Frederick Brimad and Paola Antisa. Yeah, this is a graphic novels type book that I thought was cute, which is why I bought it, but it wasn't exactly what I thought. It turns out it's just like a comic strip or a series of comic strips. This is also not the first one, it turns out. I didn't know that when I bought it, so I don't have like any context for anything. I thought it was gonna be like a more cohesive graphic novel rather than very tiny, short slice of life. Like each page is basically its own thing. So it just wasn't for me as much as I wanted it to be because, you know, I love cat. I'm a girlfriend and a cat friend. The Winter's Kiss by Marie Rutkowski. I read the entire Winter's trilogy many, many moons ago. This is the last book in that trilogy. I was just keeping it #for the memes because I only have the last book and I don't love only having one. If I'm only gonna have one book in the series, I prefer it to be the first one rather than the last one, but I think I really want to read this. I don't think I could get it. Maybe I got this on like a discount book site, so it was available, so I bought it. I don't know. But I finished the trilogy. It was fine. It was good. No, it was fine. I didn't love it, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I really like the first book, maybe. I barely remember it, so there's no reason to keep it. Hopefully this will complete someone else's collection. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child by J.K. Rowling, John Tiffany, and Jack Thorne. You know what this is. I got this obviously before J.K. Rowling started doing everything that she's doing. I haven't talked about her in quite a while, or any Harry Potter book, just because I don't support what J.K. Rowling's doing. Duh. So yeah, I thought I would share that I'm finally getting rid of this. I know everyone who Harry Potter was like important for has different philosophies on getting Harry Potter stuff and merch and book. For me, I haven't bought anything, but I have kept all the things I had. But this one, I feel like I can let go because I have no attachment. I never read The Cursed Child. I got this so I could read it, and then I just never made time to do it, and then I didn't really want to. I'm never gonna read it, I don't think, so there's no reason in keeping this. Coming Back by Jessie Sabarsky. This is a graphic novel. I think the art style is really interesting. I read this during my 24-hour readathon vlog that I will have linked down below and somewhere on the screen. And I enjoyed it. It was fine, but there's no reason for me to keep this. It wasn't a favorite or anything, and now someone else can enjoy it. This is a fantasy graphic novel where some people have like powers that I don't remember how to describe, where you can kind of create matter. And this follows a couple who one of them is able to do that and the other person isn't very good at it. And so when the very magical partner gets called to like do something to help save their town, the other main character breaks a sacred law and gets like kicked out of their town. So it's about them like coming back together, hence the title. So hopefully someone else enjoys this. I thought it was fine. Everything Leads to You by Nina LaCour. This I enjoyed. I think I gave it 4 stars. I've just had it for so long and it's not something that really sticks out in my mind. I might not end up giving this away if Half Price Books gives it back. Like I might just keep it instead of putting it in a little free library. But for now, I think my time with this book has been done. I do like Nina LaCour as an author. I thought I was going to read all her books. I've only read 2, but I mean, I still could. That one is a possibility. Speaking of authors, I was trying to read all their books. We have Little and Lion by Brandy Colbert. This is another author that I was trying to read, like the majority of this author's work. This one I thought was fine. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it when I read it, but again, no reason for me to keep this. This follows our main character who is dealing with her stepbrother's bipolar diagnosis and her trying to understand her brother while also understanding her feelings about like a new girl who her brother also has a crush on. So it's a whole messy love triangle kind of thing. And I think someone else in the future will enjoy this and I don't need it in my house anymore. Last but not least, we have A Universe of Wishes, edited together by Danielle Clayton. This is an Owl Crate edition. Like this is a special Owl Crate cover. I think the original cover is black instead of white. I have an unboxing of me getting the Owl Crate because this was like a special Owl Crate like winter box or something. If you're interested, that will be linked down below in the cards. I didn't love this. I liked only a few of the stories in here. So there's no reason for me to keep this because it wasn't like a favorite or anything. The only reason I was keeping it was because I thought it was like special to have an Owl Crate edition, but nobody's selling this for any like decent amount of money. So it's not like it's a very sought after edition. So it's fine. Someone else can have it. And yes, that is everything that I'm unhauling. This took me a lot longer than I planned. So thank you for sticking with it. In the comments, leave me a book emoji and let me know what was the last book you got rid of. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, you might like my last haul video, which was my European book haul. That will be linked right here. And here's a video that YouTube thinks you'll like. I will see you in my next video. Bye.